So here's the basics of this fight in a nutshell. Death, pain, agony, and struggle for all who oppose this creature. Yay! Greetings, webs and grandchildren. This is Jackit K, and welcome to another edition of Golden Sun: The Lost Age. Last time we were very close to finishing up Treasure Isle, and before we finish it up, I decided that I would come back here to Yalun to forge the items that we collected in Treasure Isles. I need to come back here anyways to heal after some grinding I was doing, so I'm going to quickly show you the items I got, and then I'll meet you back at Treasure Isles. Now that we're back at Treasure Isles, before we move onwards, I want to show you the stats that all my party members have obtained throughout my training, and then show you the classes that I have prepared for the upcoming event. Because we have a very big battle coming up ahead. So onwards. I am the Guardian Water. If you would claim my power, you must prove your worth. So this is the Star Magician. Like I've said before, I consider him the second hardest fight in the game, even with the mandatory boss fights that the game has. Though in hindsight, it's more that the boss is just tedious to deal with than it is hard once you know what you're doing. The times that I had quit the game wasn't because my whole party died, it's just like I was in a situation where I know it's going to be a stalemate or annoying to play through, and it would be quicker just to try again. But don't worry, I'll be sure to explain everything that's so annoying with this guy when we're actually in the fight, like so. I think the first thing you'll notice are these spherical-shaped monsters that surround the Star Magician. They each have their own set of health and psi energy points, as you'll see in a second. They also each have their own way to either help the Star Magician or harm us as the player. That health you see, by the way? That's normal playthrough stats. In hard, those numbers are double in the health. So yeah, the green Guardian Ball has over 1,000 points in this battle. You can imagine how annoying it would be to take it out, especially once we get into how that particular monster is annoying. Now, like in boss fights we've been in before, I still recommend keeping your resistance and defense up. Though this boss fight in particular, I would recommend focusing on your resistance more than your defense. Once my strategy on how I eventually was able to beat this guy comes through, you'll see why I recommend focusing on defense. And yay! We already have death! R.I.P. Garrett, no one cares about you except for me in this particular fight, because you're my key to getting my defense up. Oh goody good gosh. It's weird how I consider Garrett my least favorite character of Golden Sun. Yeah, I've seen to be relying on him for protect a lot in my playthroughs. It seems to be a case in past playthroughs as well. Now, before I get any more on that topic, I'd like to point out, this is the list of priority you want to give to attacking these monster balls. Blue, I don't care if everyone is dying, go after that guy first. Green, you want to take him out before trying to do anything to the Star Magician. Red, don't worry about them because they'll kill themselves eventually. And purple, that's why I like to get my resist up for this fight. As you can see, the Star Magician can respawn his monster balls at any time, so that will get annoying. You eventually have to just get them down to one type of ball that you don't mind dealing with. You never want to have the blue ball out because it will heal the Star Magician like 1,500 HP. It will allow the Star Magician to recover as long as it's alive. The Guardian Ball is not much better. Guard Aurora, it will allow the Star Magician to tank your hits incredibly. I mean, here's an example. I cast Judgment and it did 10 damage to the Star Magician. Yeah! The Guardian Ball must die before you have any hope of making the Star Magician die. And it does not help that the only other thing this sucker will do besides that attack is defend itself. And considering how much health it has, that can make it a bit annoying to take out. But it's a must if you want to do anything significant against this boss. Now, I would consider the anger balls, you know, the red balls, that go boom DA, the least frightening, but you can't really rely on them being out. Since they will commit kamikaze, I'm sorry, the only way to describe that is that they explode and kill themselves. What else do you want me to call it? And that'll give the Star Magician a chance to just bring out another ball in this place. Especially one of the blue or green ones. So by process of elimination, the only ball that can rely on being out all the time is the purple one. Granted, the red ones are pretty deadly too. Their explosions do a lot of damage to you. Another reason I prefer them over the purple, just because the way my party is set up, I have more ways to raise my party's resistance than I do my party's defense. Look at that. I believe that counts as physical. And look how much damage those explosions do. Now, you saw how much the Thunderball did before. Granted, the Thunderball is nothing to sneeze at either. Though, considering it's impossible to deal with either all blue or all green balls, and the red balls will go away on their own, you have to get into a situation where there's nothing but Thunderballs surrounding the Star Magician. So we can't call any of the blue or green balls, so you can then focus your attacks on the Star Magician. Otherwise, you'll be here all day, even if you aren't under level like myself. Heck, more like all week, because I already know that it practically took me all night to get through this fight, even when I eventually came up with the idea of just getting him down to the purple Thunderballs. The balls are what really make this fight so quote-unquote challenging. Even if he can summon more balls though, he has a few tricks up his sleeve. But I'll come back to that when it's more appropriate. As you can see, Side Energy that allows you to focus on a single target is very useful for this fight. You may think that all range attacks would be more useful considering you're fighting multiple foes, technically. However, you don't want to kill everything unless you just want to grind for experience. Because once a Thunderball is out in the field, you do not want to kill it. If there's multiple blue balls, that's like the only justification I can see for using a ranged Side Energy like Cycle Beam. So as you'll see, Mind Ball is basically his ranged normal attack. It does not cost him any Side Energy to use. He also has a basic version of it that just attacks one target. While I'm finally reviving Garrett, it might be a good time to go back into why I actually seem to rely on him a lot. I know I described Garrett as someone you want to use for attacking and not for supporting. Yeah, I always seem to rely on him for supporting, especially with Protect. Before we get into that, let me watch Derpy me try to pound all these balls at once with Cycle Beam. What a fool I am to do that. Also, here's a Star Magician using Side Energy. Spark Plasma is nothing to sneeze at. He also used Mega Cool earlier on in the fight, which is a water-based Side Energy, and considering Side Energy is his most deadly way of attacking you, sealing away his Side Energy, or just making him use it all up, could help you if you're in a pinch and really need a heal. I wouldn't rely on it though, especially if you're struggling to keep your healers alive to begin with. As you may have noticed from watching me fight the boss, based on the classes that I have, my 3 best options in this fight are Deathleap from Felix, Fume Edge from Isaac, and Serpent Fume from Jenna. You notice I'm using Jenna a lot for healing in this fight, despite her having one of the 3 main ideals for attacking. Well, cause someone is under-leveled, I don't have Pure Wish yet, which is superior to Cool Aurora. Yet the version I have of Wish is inferior to Cool Aurora, though I believe someone didn't realize that until this attempt against the boss. I believe the fool has earned himself a trip back to middle school reading at the least. While Garrett's back out, I believe I have good justification why I always seem to use him for supporting. The easiest way to have Protect is to give Fire Adept's Mercury to Djinns. And heck with giving that to Jenna, then I wouldn't be able to have her as the awesome Jenna. Screw having Garrett actually be useful as a physical attacker. I'd rather have Jenna be awesome. Oh, and there's Psy-Energy Sealing being used. I don't believe I use it again ever in this fight, so I better make the most out of it. On the subject of good Psy-Energy to use, if you do have either Isaac or Felix with nothing but Phoenix Djinns, you should have Odyssey at this point, which is very useful against the Guardian Ball because it's actually weak to Earth Psy-Energy. And Odyssey is basically an upgrade to Ragnarok. You know how Ragnarok slams one sword into people's faces? Odyssey slams 3 swords into a person's face. Well, even though it seems like I gave everyone Wish, I'm still struggling to keep my health up. Can't believe I'm actually using potions. I can't believe I actually used the Hermes water earlier. Well, I do, but I really shouldn't have. But it doesn't really matter because at this point in the game, it's just another potion. And I think I can buy those at this point, or very soon. If only as artifacts in limited quantities. Oh, and this is the ideal setup I want to have with the Star Magician. Having nothing but Thunderballs or Anger Balls along his side. That way I can completely focus on him attacking, and not worry about him getting healed or being impossible to do a significant amount of damage to. One more Thunderball to replace the Anger Ball, and we'll be in a really good situation. However, I think Derpy Me is gonna mess it up at one point, going, "Hey, I can do damage to a bunch of things at one time!" and kill a Thunderball, only to have an Aurora Ball, or dare I say, Glide Ball come in place. Oh, speaking of, here's the Guardian Ball. Hi, Guardian Ball, I missed you so much. Not. Anyways, what am I doing here? I guess I'm starting to look into the Djinns as an alternative to conserving Psy Crystals because, yeah, I've gone for a lot of Psy Energy in this fight, so it's highly recommended to have some sort of Psy Energy recovery. And considering there's so few fights left in the game, and this is one of the hardest ones you'll come across, don't feel guilty about using Psy Crystals in this fight. There's a couple boss fights you'll want to save some for, but not too many. And that's me using a summon, slowly weakening the Thunderballs to being KO'd in the future. Yay! That actually brings up a good point that I want to talk about. If you want, raising your attack might be useful for this fight if you're going in with the idea of just attacking the non-Thunderballs with regular attacks to conserve your Psy Energy for the Star Magician. That's an idea that you can go by. Again, a lot of the strategy depends on how you set up your Djinns, and whether you prefer to summon a lot or to focus on using your Psy Energy. For me, I find Psy Energy more useful than summons in this fight because summons attack everything, including the balls you don't want to kill. On the subject of not killing things, though, we finally got a full team of Thunderballs on the field. Yay! Let's see how long it lasts before I somehow mess it up. Oh, by the way, Garrett is going to the back of the party for the rest of the battle. Hooray! And this is the ideal setup that I have for this fight. Felix, Piers, Isaac, and Jenna. These are the 4 that will be carrying out the rest of the fight. So I hope you like their faces, cause we're gonna be spending a lot of quality time with them. Good sir, I know you're jealous of Jenna's awesomeness, but that's no reason to go attacking her. There's 3 guys on the field that you could be attacking as well. As a simple-minded, I come to the conclusion that you're attacking Jenna because she's a girl, not because she's been the most effective means on the team, both from an offensive and supportive stance. No! You're attacking Jenna because she's a girl! Sexist scum! Okay, and here's Mistake Mahabuhu number 100. Using Reflux. In my head I was thinking, hey, if I do this, I can counter him every time the Star Magician attacks me. Silly me forgot to calculate the idea that the balls could also attack him and trigger Reflux, resulting in them being killed off by Reflux, which results in the Star Magician summoning more balls, specifically balls that I do not want to be graced with the presence of. So several millenniums later, we're back here and I've gotten rid of all the nasty balls. We're just back to the harmless ones, or the least harmful. And what is silly Jackit up to today? What is he indeed? Using the Djinns? What could silly Jackit be up to? That is a good Djinn, preventing me from taking a significant amount of damage. Oh look! It's another nasty ball. And since the red ball exploded, he replaced it with another one. Yay! At least it's one that I ultimately want on the field at the end of the battle. Fun fact! If you defeat the red balls before they explode, you get experience. But if they use your explosion attack, you do not get said experience. Sad. Yay, another anger ball that's gonna eventually blow up in our face. Because I'm gonna be too busy attacking the Star Magician, right? No, don't use the summon, you fool! Why are you using the meteor summon? Yay, let's watch the balls die. What is he gonna replace that one with? Oh, he's not gonna replace it quite yet. Don't worry guys, he'll replace the ball soon enough though. And yes, I know I'm using resistance when it's not going up. There's a method behind that madness. You see, eventually stats raises will wear out. They'll vanish, but if you keep using it, even if you're not getting a boost, it won't run out. Simple as that. About time I start using Jenna as an offensive powerhouse. And here comes the idea I gave you guys before of raising my attack to better deal with the balls quicker without wasting too much energy. Down goes the refresh ball, and yay, Felix died. How about that? Now I could skip to a more interesting part of the battle, but I'm gonna leave this in. It's kinda amusing what happens this turn. Felix is gonna get revived. Easy enough, you saw me revive him. Now we're pretty much cleared on the ball sense, but watch how quickly Felix dies again. Okay, I spoiled it, but emphasis was kinda there. Yay, he's dead already! So, off-screen magic allowed Felix to come back to life. Hopefully it won't die again. It kinda had me worried there for a second. Have I ever mentioned how awesome Aurora is? Recover 400 HP per person this turn. That is pretty awesome luck, because I'm pretty sure 200 is the average. I have no idea how energy healing is calculated because it's obviously not fixed, like it is outside of battle. I'm not quite sure why this is in here, but it's in there for a reason. The last part was in there because attack boost. Yeah, good idea for a strategy. Yeah, Aurora is healing way more than my most recent wish is, but I explained it already. Hopefully we can get rid of that fly ball before I can do any serious damage. Thank you. And Felix is dead again. Yay, that's why I left that in there. And oh yeah, cool basic attack. Can you believe that was a basic attack? Well, it was the unleash of a basic attack. I don't think we ever seen that one before, which was why I left that in there. If I recall, this is a very special turn in the battle. Why? Just keep your patience up. I know it's been pretty long. It's been even longer on my end, so no complaining. I try to make the gameplay as interesting as possible. BAM! The Star Magician is down! Dead! Defeated! Doesn't freaking matter, he's not on screen anymore. You know what that means, guys? No more balls! You guys have no idea how happy I was when the Star Magician died. That pause I had after he was defeated? Pure joy. Joy in its purest form, like Mountain Dew flavored cookies. I don't know if that actually be good. Mountain Dew flavored cookies. But point remains, all that is left is to take out the balls. Honestly, The fight seems pretty set from here, but it doesn't hurt to be too careful, especially considering how much time I spent getting to this point over the series of 5 attempts and maybe 4 hours. Definitely at least 2. This single attempt was around 50 minutes. The video was originally 50 minutes from meeting with the boss to defeating the boss before I put it in the editing mobile. And that is why this boss is post-commentated. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Only 2 left. I think we can finish it off with some basic attacks. Tempted to bring in some awesome guys to finish it off, but the crew we have here is pretty awesome. And no. Silly me. You're supposed to let Jenna finish it off. Who cares about healing? You have a whole party in the back in case something horrible happens and this doesn't somehow finish the job. Oh well, I guess Jenna can't have all the fun all the time. With that, the Star Magician has been defeated and we don't get any freaking level ups from all that experience. The sads. But yay! We should get something really cool after all that effort, right guys? Well, you won't be disappointed. It is a pretty good summon that we get out of this thing. Got to summon Azul. It is considered one of the most powerful summons in the game. It is the strongest Mercury summon that we can acquire in this game. Not only does it do a massive amount of Mercury damage as is, but it will do additional damage based on the foe's maximum HP. Sounds like it would be pretty handy for hard mode. Oh, it also can stun foes if they manage to survive it. Not certain if it'll work on bosses, but still a really good summon. I think after a great climax like that from Treasure Isles, we can call it a part here and be very satisfied. Next time on Let's Play Golden Sun: The Lost Age, we will go back over to the western side of the continent, and hopefully find Magma Rock. Might show something off along the way. Until then though, see y'all later.